is it, guys? So you're probably fed up of all the Eldlich lists that I keep on posting out, but this is my fun deck. Okay, this isn't my fun deck. It's a lie, I tell. Eldlich. Eldlich will never be the fun deck. Eldlich will always be the deck where people say, takes no skill, put no effort in, you'll win, you'll get prizings. And that's pretty much how I'm going to treat the deck, effectively. So, I've played several events now, and after the whole mine getting hit, I feel that this deck's got better and worse at the same time. Because it's like a zombie deck from back in the day, where the banned list would hurt the deck, but it would also improve it at the same time. And you get rewarded very well in Eldlich if you're a good Eldlich player. Like, if you have played through lots of control formats, you know how to play around things, and you know how to do everything effectively. So, yeah. And I feel that if you keep on improving on it, it does actually become one of those things of you refine the diamond, but you're never going to refine it perfectly. And this is the version that I believe is built perfectly for my locals. Now, a lot of it does have like quite a bit of theory into it, so I'll just go through the deck for it and then explain the theory as it goes along. So we play 2 Eldlich the Golden Lord because you have to play 2 Eldlich. I've gone back and forwards on 3 and 2. I still think 2 is correct with the version that I'm playing because the amount of times that these have been DD Crowed, Bestialed, whatever sense that leads to this not being in my graveyard, and I still win because the deck doesn't solely focus around Eldlich the Golden Lord. It can play into other things because we also do main the triple copies of Inspector Border. Your opponent does not open Dark Ruler, you win, basically. It's very awkward to explain at locals what this actually does because it's not worded the best. But you open this in your opening hand, a lot of decks are going to have a hard time getting around this, like very, very difficult. And you get rewarded for knowing how to play slowly with this deck. Like, I've tested this enough times to know that do not be greedy. If you have the border in hand, just summon it. You might not draw extra cards of stuff later on, but it's the fact that your opponent's going to be playing so slowly, and all you need is just a way to get this back onto the field, and then you're just pushing for lots and lots of damage. And then to round off the rest of the monsters, the triple lava golem. This is also very good because you won't always go first as much as in the ideal universe. Every single Yu-Gi-Oh player loves going first. That's just not going to happen with this deck, and you kind of have to accept that you have to play going second stuff and potentially drawing dead cards to accept that it makes the deck better overall for late games, because this deck does tend to go into like 10, 10, 10, 11 if I haven't actually done stuff, and then it's just a war of attrition. But yeah, Lava Golem's just good. Then we play the 1 black. We don't play white in the deck because white isn't as good. You need to, if you have access to white, it's because you're already winning, and the only reason I contemplate it is because bestials do exist and you would activate white, but the fact that multiple bestials do exist means that white isn't going to be as good anymore. We play the 1 Call by the Grave because this is your 3rd Haquaro. You don't play 3 Haquaro, this is just better. And then we play the triple Pot of Extravagance. It's draw 2. You can play Prosperity, but I believe that this is better because drawing 2 is fine, and because of how the extra deck is set up, game 1, you can just resolve this as much times as you want and you just don't care. We play the triple Super Poly in the main because Board Breaker is Board Breaker. We play 4 targets in the extra. Well, currently I'm playing 3, but this should actually be 4 targets in the extra, so then if we do go second, we can just clear away their board. There are the amount of times as well that I've done Eldlich the Golden Lord and other things to put on the damage, and then I just super poly away into Garuda, and that's the last bit of damage to win. Now, this is my personal tech choice for locals. We play 3 Mistaken Arrest. The reason why I play this in the min is because there is that many Flunder players during the week when I was actually testing this, that this came up. Like, you draw this going first against Flunder, you set it, they can't do anything during their turn or your turn, so it means a free setup, and also during your turn, if you draw this, and they activate the Flunderee's trap that makes it so that they can summon during your turn, you just flip this up, they don't play. That's it, the turn stops, and then you continue like nothing ever happened, and then it also blocks them during their turn. But for those of you that don't actually know what this does, neither player can add cards from the deck in your hand until the end of your next end phase. So you play this at any point against certain decks, and it works perfectly fine. There is no cards in here that search, so this does nothing to you. And the only reason we play this over Mistake is because this is a spell. Well, it's a quick play spell actually, so it's a million times better. As for the traps, there are a lot of 2-ofs in here, but we'll just go through the standard Eldlich traps first. So we play the 2 Haquero, the 3 Conquistador, and the 3 Scarlet Sanguine. This is very standard. We've cut the Golden Land forever because I couldn't find the room for it, to be perfectly honest. Golden Land is a very good card because once you set up the board, it's the case of it provides an extra form of negation to prevent Dark Rulers and other things, but yeah, it's a yes and a no card. Maybe in the potential future I'll probably change out this list and have space for a Golden Land forever, but I believe in this variant it just doesn't need it. The only time I'd actually contemplate it is potentially siding it in if I'm forced to go first, so then I have a way to it. But we don't also play the spell that such as Golden Land cards, because if we played Cursed Eldland, then yes, we would actually play that. Some of the 2-ofs is Ice Dragon's Prison, There Can Be Only One, and Rivalry of Warlords. Now, the reason why we played all of these at 2 is because these are basically, it's just any combination of this actually wins the games. Ice Dragons, we play this because of the spice that we play in the extra deck. We can't play Dogmatic as punishment anymore, which is really, really sad. But this is kind of works as well because it can hit the Ishizu stuff out of the grave. It can hit some of the stuff where the Bestial targets from what's in your opponent's grave, so it makes it harder. And there have been times where I flip this up, and it's just a case of just border control at that point. So yeah, fun deck. And to round off the rest of the traps, 3 Skill Drain. You never play any less of this, 2 Torrential Tribute, and 2 Solemn Strike. Now, the reason why these are again played at 2 is because it gets to a point where you're no longer needing to grind your opponent as much anymore. Like, if you open a border, you don't need this card anymore. It does nothing. And if you open up Skill Drain and Super Poly, this doesn't do anything either. So it's the fact that we play so many combinations of good cards that kind of overlap for different sort of circumstances, mean that all the good traps, you don't actually need to play them at 3-ofs. You can get away with just 2 of each and then just draw into them as and when you need to. Yeah, that's it for the main deck. There isn't really much I'd change, obviously. It's built specifically for my locals, so there are some player's choice cards in there, but that's just how it is for me. There's no point building this for like the meta if I'm not going to any big events anytime soon. So then for the Super Poly targets, we play the 2 Mud Dragon and the 1 Garuda. There is supposed to be another Garuda, I just don't own one yet. But it is fine the way it is because Super Poly is just an amazing board breaker when it's played, so yeah. The Spice for the other fusion, we play 1 Jerry, 1 Newman, and 3 Hugin. So the reason why we play these is because, well, we play this one because the amount of times where I've gone into time and I've sided into the stuff that summons this is just play this, time it's called in the end phase, so we just play one of the traps, one of the spells from hand, summon this, gain life, win. This is amazing. Your opponent just wastes their lightning storms if they do this. So basically what Hugin does is if a card would be if another card would be destroyed by a card effect, I can get rid of the Hugin instead. So my opponent lightning storms me, I chain one of the traps to summon Hugin. Hugin just protects it. And obviously Searching Fountain is great because you just start drawing cards later on. Jerry's great because it's just a protection card and it pops stuff. There is nothing that you will add back from Jerry, but it's just the case of just this is the correct sort of ratios. You don't want more of these because they're situational sorts of cards, and Hugin is just the best one out of them all. And then to round off for the rest of the cards, we play 2 Imdurk. One of these will be cut for another Super Poly target. 1 Liner. We don't play the Vampire Sucker, Nightmare Phoenix, or anything like that because it's just not needed anymore. You'd rather just play the Runic stuff, and that's actually what eats up the extra deck space. 2 of the big train go Burn, and 1 of the big train that goes Burr, and Compulsory Evacuation Device. It's very rare you'll summon this, but if you do summon it, it is quite fun in the situation of you can bounce back your own stuff to get rid of stuff. So I have used it on one occasion where I did bounce back a Golden Lord just so I could have it to send to grave to revive itself and also clear something off the field. So it's fun that way. It also just deals with problematic cards that are problematic. I was considering playing Zeus, but if I played Zeus, I'd have to up the Exceed line, and then it just wouldn't summon it. The only way I'd contemplate playing it is if I play Prosperity in the main instead of Extract, but that's just no. I'd rather have the extra doors. And then the side deck is a bit more universal, so we play the 2 Sphere mode because it's if we're going second, we side out one of the borders and some of the trap stuff, because Sphere mode is just better. Just having 5 with a 1 in 5 chance. Well, not 1 in 5. A 1 in 8 chance of just drawing something that contribute out the board is amazing. The 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, it's not needed in the main because we just play control for a bit. We play the triple evenly matched as the board breaker. I did contemplate playing Lightstorm. The amount of times I have face up stuff there, and evenly just is a better board breaker overall in my eyes. I do miss the days of Lord of the Heavenly Prison setting this or setting Eradicator, but we don't play Heavenly Prison because it's not as good anymore. And then we play 3 Shadow Imprisoning in the side. It's the card that basically hits quite a lot of decks that just exist now. So we tend to side out the Mistaken Arrest for this. If I was probably to take this to regionals, this would be mained, and Mistaken Arrest just would be the card that is actually sided, because Mistaken Arrest is alright, but it's just not amazing. It's just situational at best, so yeah. And then as for the runic cards, we play the 1 Fountain. We only play the 1 Fountain because we more want the discard of the Hugin than we actually want the Fountain. We play 2 Runic Destruction because this is our back row removal. 2 Flashing Fire because this just is the monster removal, and 1 Freezing Curse because it's the better out of all the other ones that remain. Smiting Storm isn't useful at all because it just banishes stuff, and I more want stuff that can actually respond to my opponent's plays. So having ways to actually deal with their monsters as well as a consistent way to Hugin is actually very, very good for me. So yeah, that's really it. I don't tend to side into the runic stuff unless I'm going first, because I know my opponent's going to side in Lightning Storm or evenly. If they side in evenly, there isn't as much that I can do. If you're a good Eldlich player, you make sure that you have cards left in your hand so evenly just doesn't ruin your day. But that just goes off experience of playing Eldlich. But as for everything else, I think the list is fine the way it is. It's built for mainly against Flunder matches and things that do constant amounts of searching. This is just great because people don't see it coming, so it actually just outs a lot of things. The ability to play lots and lots of 2-ofs is also quite good because it means I can play more versatility cards for different sorts of situations, and it just hurts so many different decks. But yeah. Thanks guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe as always. I should be putting out some more stuff a bit more. I'm going to try and start getting some more Digimon stuff up on here as deck profiles, and as when Pokemon starts kicking off, we will hopefully start putting some Pokemon things up here. But I'll be signing out now. Peace.